Chapter 15 of Book 1 of Prior Analytics by Aristotle, translated by Octavius Owen. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Jeffrey Edwards. Chapter 15 of Syllogisms with one simple and another contingent proposition in the first figure. If one proposition be assumed to exist, but the other to be contingent, when that which contains the major extreme signifies the contingent, all the syllogisms will be perfect, and of the contingent, according to the above definition. But when the minor is contingent, they will all be imperfect, and the negative syllogisms will not be of the contingent, according to the definition, but of that which is necessarily present with no one, or not with every. For if it is necessarily present with no one, or not with every, we say that, it happens, to be present with no one, and not with every. Now let A be contingent to every B, and let B be assumed to be present with every C. Since then C is included under B, and A is contingent to every B, A is also clearly contingent to every C, and there is a perfect syllogism. So also if the proposition A, B is negative, but B, C affirmative, and A, B is assumed as contingent, but B, C to be present with simply, there will be a perfect syllogism, so that A will happen to be present with no C. It appears then that when a pure minor is assumed, the syllogisms are perfect, but that when it is of a contrary character, it may be shown per impossible that there would be also syllogisms, though at the same time it would be evident that they are imperfect, since the demonstration will not arise from the assumed propositions. First, however, we must show that if A exists, B must necessarily exist, and that if A is possible, B will necessarily be possible. Let then under these circumstances A be possible, but B impossible. If therefore the possible, since it is possible to be, may be produced, yet the impossible, because it is impossible, cannot be produced. But if at the same time A is possible and B impossible, it may happen that A may be produced without B, if it is produced also, that it may exist, for that which has been generated, when it has been so generated, exists. We must however assume the possible and impossible, not only in generation, but also in true assertion, and in the in esse, and in as many other ways as the possible is predicated, for the case will be the same in all of them. Moreover, when it is said, if A exists, B is, we must not understand as if A being a certain thing, B will be, for no necessary consequence follows from one thing existing, but from there being two at least, as in the case of propositions subsisting in the manner we have stated in syllogism. For if C is predicated of D, but D of F, C will also necessarily be predicated of F, and if each be possible, the conclusion will be possible, just as if one should take A as the premises, but B the conclusion. It will not only happen that A being necessary, B is also necessary, but that when the former is possible, the latter also will be possible. This being proved, it is manifest that when there is a false and not impossible hypothesis, the consequence of the hypothesis will also be false and not impossible, e.g., if A is false yet not impossible, but when A is, B also is, here B will also be false yet not impossible. For since it has been shown that A existing, B also exists, when A is possible, B will be also possible. But A is supposed to be possible, wherefore B will be also possible. For if it were impossible, the same thing would be possible and impossible at the same time. These things then being established, let A be present with every B, and B contingent to every C. Therefore A must necessarily happen to be present with every C, for let it not happen, but let B be supposed to be present with every C. This is indeed false, yet not impossible. If then A is not contingent to C, but B is present with every C, A is not contingent to every B, for a syllogism arises in the third figure. But it was supposed that A was contingently present with every B, therefore A must necessarily be contingent to every C. For the false being assumed and not the impossible, the consequence is impossible. Example 1. Every B is A. It happens that every C is B. Therefore, it happens that every C is A. It is necessary that some C should not be A. Every C is B. Therefore, not every B is A. We may also make a deduction to the impossible in the first figure by assuming B to be present with every C. For if B is with every C, but A contingent to every B, A will also be contingent to every C. But it was supposed not to be present with every C. Example 2. Every B is A. It happens that every C is B. Therefore, it happens that every C is A. It happens that every B is A. Every C is B. Therefore, it happens that every C is A. Still, we must assume the being present with every, not distinguishing it by time, as now, or at this time, but simply, for by propositions of this kind we also produce syllogisms. Since when a proposition is taken as to the present, it will not be a syllogism, since perhaps there is nothing to hinder man from being present some time or other with everything moved, viz., if nothing else is moved, but what is moved is contingent to every horse, yet man is contingent to no horse. Moreover, let the first term be animal, the middle that which is moved, and the last man. The propositions will then be alike, but the conclusion necessary and not contingent, for man is necessarily an animal, so that it is evident that the universal must be taken simply and not deprived by time. Example 3. Whatever is moved is a man. It happens that every horse is moved. It is necessary that no horse should be a man. Whatever is moved is an animal. It happens that every man is moved. It is necessary that every man should be an animal. Again, let the proposition A, B be universal negative, and let A be assumed to be present with no B, but let B contingently be present with every C. Now, from these positions, A must necessarily happen to be present with no C, for let it not so happen, but let B be supposed to be present with C, as before. Then A must necessarily be present with some B, for there is a syllogism in the third figure, but this is impossible, wherefore A can be contingent to no C, for the false and not the impossible being assumed, the impossible results. Example 4. No B is A. It happens that every C is B. Therefore, it happens that no C is A. It is necessary that some C should be A. Every C is B. Therefore, some B is A. Now, this syllogism is not of the contingent according to the definition, but of what is necessarily present with none, for this is a contradiction of the given hypothesis, because A was supposed necessarily present with some C, but the syllogism per impossible is of an opposite contradiction. Besides, from the terms it appears clearly that there is no contingent conclusion, for let crow stand for A, that which is intelligent for B, and man for C. A is therefore present with no B, for nothing intelligent is a crow, but B is contingent to every C, since it happens to every man to be intelligent. But A is necessarily present with no C, wherefore the conclusion is not contingent. Example 5. Nothing intelligent is a crow. It happens that every man is intelligent. It is necessary that no man should be a crow. But neither is the conclusion always necessary, for let A be what is moved, B science, and C man. A will then be present with no B, but B is contingent to every C, and the conclusion will not be necessary, for it is not necessary that no man should be moved, but also it is not necessary that a certain man should be moved. Therefore it is clear that the conclusion is of that which is necessarily present with no one, hence the terms must be assumed in a better manner. But if the negative be joined to the minor extreme, signifying to be contingent from the assumed propositions, there will be no syllogism, but there will be, as in the former instances, when the contingent proposition is converted. For let A be present with every B, but B contingent to no C. Now, when the terms are thus, there will be nothing necessary inferred. But if B, C be converted, and B be assumed to be contingent to every C, a syllogism arises as before, since the terms have a similar position. In the same manner, when both the propositions are negative, if A, B signifies not being present, but B, C to be contingent to no individual, through these assumptions no necessity arises, but the contingent proposition being converted, there will be a syllogism. Let A be assumed present to no B, and B contingent to no C. Nothing necessary is inferred from these, but if it is assumed that B is contingent to every C, which is true, and the proposition A, B subsist similarly, there will be again the same syllogism. If, however, B is assumed as not present with C, and not that it happens not to be present, there will by no means be a syllogism, neither if the proposition A, B be negative nor affirmative. But let the common terms of necessary presence be "white," "animal," "snow," and of non-contingency "white," "animal," "pitch." Example 6. It happens that every (no) animal is white. No snow is an animal. It is necessary that all snow should be white. It happens that every (no) animal is white. No pitch is an animal. It is necessary that no pitch should be white. It is evident, therefore, that when terms are universal, and one of the propositions is assumed, as simply de in esse, but the other contingent, when the minor premise is assumed contingent, a syllogism always arises, except that sometimes it will be produced from the propositions themselves, and at other times from the contingent proposition being converted. When, however, each of these occurs, and for what reason, we have shown. But if one proposition be assumed as universal, and the other particular, when the universal contingent is joined to the major extreme, whether it be affirmative or negative, but the particular is a simple affirmative de in esse, there will be a perfect syllogism, just as when the terms are universal, but the demonstration is the same as before. Now, when the major is universal, simple, and not contingent, but the other, the minor, particular, and contingent, if both propositions be assumed affirmative or negative, or if one be affirmative and the other negative, there will always be an incomplete syllogism, except that some will be demonstrated per impossible, but others by conversion of the contingent proposition, as in the former cases. There will also be a syllogism through conversion when the universal major signifies simply in esse or non in esse, but the particular being negative assumes the contingent, as if A is present or not present with every B, that B happens not to be present with a certain C, for the contingent proposition B, C, being converted, there is a syllogism. Still, when the particular proposition assumes the not being present with, there will not be a syllogism. Now, let the terms of presence be "white," "animal," "snow," but of not being present, "white," "animal," "pitch," for the demonstration must be assumed through the indefinite. Example 7. It happens that every (no) animal is white. Some snow is not an animal. It is necessary that all snow should be white. It happens that every (no) animal is white. Some pitch is not an animal. It is necessary that no pitch should be white. Yet if the universal be joined to the less extreme, but particular to the greater, whether negative or affirmative, contingent or pure, there will by no means be a syllogism, nor if particular or indefinite propositions be assumed, whether they take the contingent or simply the being present with, or vice versa, will there thus be a syllogism, and the demonstration is the same as before. Let, however, the common terms of being present with from necessity be "animal," "white," "man," and of not being contingent, "animal," "white," "garment." Example 8. It happens that something / not everything white is an animal. Every / no / some / not every man is white. it is necessary that every man should be an animal. It happens that something / not everything white is an animal. Every / no / some / not every garment is white. It is necessary that no garment should be an animal. Something / not everything white is an animal. It happens that every / no / some / not every man is white. It is necessary that every man should be an animal. Something / not everything white is an animal. It happens that every / no / some / not every garment is white. It is necessary that no garment should be an animal. Hence it is evident that if the major be universal, there is always a syllogism, but if the minor be so, if the major be particular, there will never be. Chapter 16. Of syllogisms with one premise necessary and the other contingent, in the first figure. When one is a necessary proposition simple, de in esse, or non in esse, and the other signifies being contingent, there will be a syllogism, the terms subsisting similarly, and it will be perfect when the minor premise is necessary. The conclusion, however, when the terms are affirmative, will be contingent, and not simple, whether they are universal or not universal. Nevertheless, if one proposition be affirmative, and the other negative, when the affirmative is necessary, the conclusion will in like manner signify the being contingent, and not the not existing, or being present with. And when the negative is necessary, the conclusion will be of the contingent, non in esse, and of the simple, non in esse, whether the terms are universal or not. The contingent also in the conclusion is to be assumed in the same way as in the former syllogisms, but there will not be a syllogism wherein the non in esse will be necessarily inferred, for it is one thing in esse, not necessarily, and another non in esse necessarily. Wherefore it is evident that when the terms are affirmative, there will not be a necessary conclusion. For let A necessarily be present with every B, but let B be contingent to every C. There will then be an incomplete syllogism, whence it may be inferred that A happens to be present with every C, but that it is incomplete is evident from demonstration, for this may be shown after the same manner as in the former syllogisms. Again, let A be contingent to every B, but let B be necessarily present with every C. There will then be a syllogism wherein A happens to be present with every C, but not simply is it present with every C. Also it will be complete, and not incomplete, for it is completed by the first propositions. Notwithstanding, if the propositions are not of similar form, first let the negative one be necessary, and let A necessarily be contingent to no B, but let B be contingent to every C. Therefore it is necessary that A should be present with no C, for let it be assumed present either with every or with some one, yet it was supposed to be contingent to no B. Since then a negative proposition is convertible, neither will B be contingent to any A, but A is supposed to be present with every or with some C, hence B will happen to be present with no or not with every C. It was, however, supposed from the first to be present with every C. Example 1. It is necessary that no B should be A. It happens that every C is B. Therefore, no C is A. It is necessary that no A should be B. Some C is A. Therefore, it is necessary that some C should not be B. Still, it is evident that there may also be a syllogism of the contingent non-inesse, as there is one of the simple non-inesse. Moreover, let the affirmative proposition be necessary, and let A be contingently present with no B, but B necessarily present with every C. This syllogism then will be perfect, yet not of the simple, but of the contingent non-inesse, for the proposition, viz. The contingent non-inesse, was assumed from the major extreme, and there cannot be a deduction to the impossible, for if A is supposed to be present with a certain C, and it is admitted that A is contingently present with no B, nothing impossible will arise therefrom. But if the minor premise be negative when it is contingent, there will be a syllogism by conversion, as in the former cases, but when it is not contingent, there will not be, nor when both premises are negative, but the minor not contingent. Let the terms be the same of the simple inesse, white, animal, snow, and of the non-inesse, white, animal, pitch. Example 2. It happens that every no animal is white. It is necessary that no snow should be an animal. It is necessary that all snow should be white. It happens that every no animal is white. It is necessary that no pitch should be an animal. It is necessary that no pitch should be white. The same will also happen in particular syllogisms, for when the negative is necessary, the conclusion will be of the simple non-inesse. Thus, if A is contingently present with no B, but B contingently present with a certain C, it is necessary that A should not be present with a certain C, since if it is present with every C, but is contingent to no B, neither will B be contingently present with any A. So that if A is present with every C, B is contingent with no C, but it was supposed contingent to a certain C. When, however, in a negative syllogism the particular affirmative is necessary, as for example, B, C, or the universal in an affirmative syllogism, e.g. A, B, there will not be a syllogism de inesse. The demonstration, however, is the same as in the former cases, but if the minor premise be universal, whether affirmative or negative and contingent, but the major particular necessary, there will not be a syllogism. Let the terms of necessary presence be animal, white, man, and of the non-contingent, animal, white, garment. Example 3. It is necessary that something white should be / not be an animal. It happens that every / no man is white. It is necessary that every man should be an animal. It is necessary that something white should be / not be an animal. It happens that every / no garment is white. It is necessary that no garment should be an animal. But when the universal is necessary and the particular contingent, the universal being negative, let the terms of presence be animal, white, crow, and of non-inesse, animal, white, pitch. Example 4. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that no crow should be white. It is necessary that every crow should be an animal. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that no pitch should be white. It is necessary that no pitch should be an animal. But when the universal affirms, let the terms of presence be animal, white, swan, but of the non-contingent be animal, white, snow. Example 5. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that every swan should be white. It is necessary that every swan should be an animal. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that all snow should be white. It is necessary that no snow should be an animal. Nor will there be a syllogism when indefinite propositions are assumed, or both particular. Let the common terms de in esse be animal, white, man, de non in esse, animal, white, inanimate. For animal is necessarily and not contingently present with something white, and white is also necessarily and not contingently present with something inanimate. The like also occurs in the contingent, so that these terms are useful for all. Example 6. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that some man should be / not be white. It is necessary that every man should be an animal. It happens that something white is / is not an animal. It is necessary that something inanimate should be / not be white. It is necessary that nothing inanimate should be an animal. It is necessary that something white should be / not be an animal. It happens that some man is / is not white. It is necessary that every man should be an animal. It is necessary that something white should be / not be an animal. It happens that everything inanimate is white. It is necessary that nothing inanimate should be an animal. From what has been said then, it appears that when the terms are alike, both in simple and in necessary propositions, a syllogism does and does not occur, except that if the negative proposition be assumed de in esse, there will be a syllogism with a contingent conclusion, but when the negative is necessary, there will be one of the character of the contingent and of the non in esse. But it is clear also that all the syllogisms are incomplete, and that they are completed through the above named figures. End of chapter 16. Recording in memory of Mitchell Edwards.